I'm Sandra D, your companion guide on this trajectory of truthful self-mastery as we celebrate your individuality and your sovereignty.
So last week you saw and heard Dr. Gilbert Myrthil and Dr. Chester Wilson discuss the problem in Haiti. And this week in part 2, we will be discussing the solution and how we can resolve the internal conflicts in Haiti from the political level to the business level, also individually, how we can resolve this ongoing turmoil on this amazing land called Haiti. So welcome to another episode of Frankly Speaking with Sandra D. Dr. Wilson.
So mediation is a process in which a neutral person acts as a third party to facilitate conversation and ultimately a solution between parties who are in disagreement. But it must be said that the mediator is not the decision maker. The mediator doesn't make the decision. They have no say-so in the outcome of it. But their whole job is to facilitate between two parties who have the right to self-determination and determine how they would like this issue to be resolved. What is the outcome? And it takes the judicial system out of the process and puts the process back into the hands of the parties who have the conflict. And this could be even if a lawsuit has been filed, if the judge allows, the court allows, and the parties agree to go to mediation, they have the opportunity to resolve and determine what the outcome is versus a person who may or may not know you to decide what your outcome is.
Absolutely. And that's and for me, the test is when I'm a mediator, not to talk, just to listen. And part of the process is, as I've been emphasizing throughout this conversation, is to be an effective listener. You are listening. You are not engaging these people only to guide them. And so, Dr. Myrthil, knowing what you know about the Haitian society, what are the most effective points? Why do you feel that mediation would be the ideal solution for Haiti?
Yeah, because of the corruption that they have in Haiti. For example, when the judge of the county, the police judge, of the police court, the smallest court in Haiti, they call them conciliators. That means they should be mediators, but they don't know how to mediate because what they're doing. If they are judges, they are not exactly conciliators. That means they take part. They take a part. For one of the parties. Okay, they don't know how to mediate.
So that's a barrier. That's definitely a barrier.
Exactly, but they still call them conciliator. Legally they're supposed to be conciliator. But
is that part of the French system? I'm sorry.
Yeah. The Romano-Germanic system. Mm-hmm. This is part of it. That the smallest, police judge, whatever they call them, they're supposed to be conciliating, but with small amount of money. That means they cannot go over like $5,000, like. Okay.
So it's more like a county in comparison to what we do.
Exactly.
It's a
After
county
that,
for judgment, small claims.
Instance court.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's supposed to go to the instance court when the amount they have.
Sure, but also it doesn't, because restorative justice is growing trend in the United States. I have attended conferences for victim offender mediation. Those are offered too. I've never participated. I think I'm too emotional for me to be impartial. And one of the things I wanted to point out to the process of mediation is to be completely neutral, completely impartial as to what the outcome is to be. It is only the parties who will dictate, like you said, Dr. Wilson, where they, you guide the process, they get to the outcome. And in mediation, you can only be two outcomes, which are, impasse or a settlement. So what most people come to mediation, I tell them, because they want a settlement. And a settlement could be some terms and conditions which can or doesn't have to include a monetary portion. In the case of victim offender mediation, you could actually go to court. Can you talk a little bit more on family mediation? Because I am not a certified family mediator. Could we talk about that? How you handle those cases and how mediation has helped families navigate through the turmoil of divorce at times?
Yeah, the family mediation process could be difficult, and oftentimes it is described as the most difficult process in mediation because you have two people who used to love each other at some point who are now in disagreements. And I oftentimes tell people the person that you marry is not the person that you divorce. And knowing that when they come to the table, husband and wives their emotions are all over the place. So they're not looking at how to properly separate or what's in the best interest of the minor children. They're oftentimes looking at how to hurt each other. And because those emotions are ruling and not allowing them to stay focused and determine how to separate from each other, they're usually spending that time fighting. But you have minor children that are involved. And so I remind them that if you make this decision, you too get to determine what's in the best interest of yourself. Don't allow somebody else to come in and tell you how to split as a couple, how to split your assets as a couple, and now how to raise your kids as a couple. So the mediation process lets you be in charge of all of those. But should you fail to exercise that right, the judicial system now tells you how to do it.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much. And the reason why I brought up the topic of family mediation, because when you're leaders of a country, you are technically parents of a country. You have children, offsprings that depend on your decision-making process. If you're not a regulated, healthy human being, you are not going to lead that household effectively. And so that's why I bring that up. And I do not want to become a family mediator. People say I'd be good at it because I do have an undergrad in psychology. But let me tell you, my life keeps me entertained enough than me having to listen to other people's dramas. But when you are in a leadership position, and that we can carry that over to corporations as well. I mean, when you're an executive in a corporation, I mean, there is a lot of toxicity happening in the corporate place right now. The buzzword today is narcissism. So we haven't talked about narcissism, but that's one of my favorite topics because that's what it boils down to. Unhealed trauma results in narcissism. And people say, well, stop having compassion for the narcissist. Well, you know what? They were a baby at some point, and as they developed, something in their development was stunted, and they made a decision, sometimes consciously or unconsciously, to never experience pain again. And that's what narcissism is. They get frozen in that state of mind, and they go about the world making sure you feel the pain they don't want to feel. How do I know? You know, my dad was a general. Do you think that didn't come with a little narcissism? I'm very honest about my father. I loved him dearly, but he made me strong. And I would not change it. I wouldn't trade my daddy up for my life. But I do want people to understand the dynamic. It doesn't mean you have to have hate in your heart if you've gone through narcissist abuse. You just need to be informed and be able to recognize it. These people are crying for help. So this is not about the intervention. This is about us knowing who we're dealing with. The leaders of Haiti right now are probably, for the most part, narcissistic, and we have to look at it from that standpoint. When a narcissist comes into a position of power, they do not look at what's good for all. They only focus on what's good for them. So, Dr. Wilson, how can we convey the need for communication with such personality disordered people? Because it is a cluster B personality disorder. How can we effectively, as neutral professional, navigate a process with those people? And it is ingrained in the Haitian community, I must say. The way the class system is set up it reeks. It's cultural narcissism. So how would you suggest that we implement some of these mediation styles into the system of Haiti in order to help it heal, in order for it to be more productive, in order to be more collectively harmonious, please? And I know I asked a lot of you. I don't expect an instant, solution, but let's brainstorm some ideas. What do you think, Dr. Wilson?
So if you recall your mediation training, when you were going through your role play, there was a part where we had to check off list of things that we had to do within our role play. And one of them was we had to confront absolutes with the other parties. When they get stuck on a position or won't move or won't communicate as a mediator, it's our job to confront that.
Mhm.
And I think from what I hear you saying with your politicians or your government that's in control there in Haiti, they're stuck in a place where they don't hear, they're self-absorbed, and they're only into their own. We have to confront those.
Yep.
Because being in leadership, especially being in government, is that you are representing the will of the people. What do the people want? In mediation, what do the parties want? They have the right to self-determination. They get to choose what they feel is best for them.
Mhm.
In government, the people elected you to represent what
Well,
they
they weren't elected, appointed by the United States government. Let's
Yeah.
be clear.
So ideally, they would be in a democratic society, they would be, and they would say, here's what we are electing you to do to push our agenda forward.
Mhm.
And when a person gets to a position of power and they're only thinking about themselves, it is us that have to confront them and say, that's not what we're asking for. That's not what we want. You're thinking about yourself. And so I use mediation in that same term and a lot throughout life where I confront absolutes. You're stuck on a position where you're only thinking about you.
Mhm.
But if you were really representing me, if you were really talking about what's in my best interest, then you would take all of these things into consideration and then at least come up with a plan that doesn't exclude me, doesn't harm me, doesn't target me, but it elevates me and puts me in a position where I feel like my voice is being heard in terms of what's best for me.
Absolutely. Which is why I led this conversation of the solution with the family mediation, because that's when you see the most emotional dysregulation. And then you have so many moving parts because you have two parties, but yet you have a third party, which is a child. So then so in Haiti at the moment, you could say the parents are supposedly the nine-headed snake. And then you have the population, but somewhere in between there, you have the gangs, right? So you have these people who I understand, are working with the government. I mean, this is allegedly, I don't have any evidence of that. I have to keep saying that. But most people that I know, the average, and Dr. Myrthil, you can tell me about that. Some of these politicians have their own gang, I understand. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. So those people who are supposed to be serving us are the one unleashing this violence on the people. So just to bring it into proper perspective, now, if these people are the ones who are imposing that violence on the population who they supposedly are supposed to serve, talk to me, how would that look like? Bringing mediation in. So how can we disrupt? Let's talk about your training. Who would you first start training with me in Haiti? The hierarchy. So we forget the gangs, because if we have mediation, we'll have more peaceful people. The gangs need to be in jail, or they need to go meet their maker. God is waiting for those conflicted human beings to come and repent. So let's focus on the people who really matter, the population and the government. So where would we start? How do we begin implementing and creating a system of mediation for Haiti? Go ahead, Dr. Myrthil, go ahead.
Yeah, but I think you're supposed to start by the government, because between them they don't know how to solve the problem. They don't know. If they don't know, it's supposed to they have between them, like in Haiti, they have more than thousand parties, political parties.
What?
Yeah, they're more than 1,000.
1,000 political parties?
Yeah, that means each party now is looking for the power. That means how are you going to solve the problems if you don't sit down with them and have them to think together and have three parties at least, or two parties like in a lot of countries.
Well, that goes back to the Constitution, isn't it? Does the
Because
Constitution touch on that?
Now that goes back to the Constitution, but you have amendment you can do. You can make amendment to the Constitution, and like the electoral constitution, whatever, the electoral office. Now the electoral office can take an amendment and send it to the Congress and have them to fix the number of parties, the political parties. If they don't fix the number of political parties, you will never have a solution, except that if you sit with them, have a mediation, have a mediation and national mediation, not international, national mediation.
National mediation.
All right, between the political people, like when I say the political people, that means the parties, and have them to put them together. Like they can sit down and have like a system, okay, left, right, center, whatever, Mindel, whatever you can call them. The three parties now, with the three parties, you can have a solution, but you're not going to solve the problem without starting, if you don't start with the government.
The government and the judicial system.
Now, the judicial
No?
system
Because
is
they're the ones, because the
sleeping
government,
right now.
the
The
reason why I
judicial
say,
system
I'm sorry to
is
interrupt.
sleeping.
The reason why I say the judicial system, because if the government's not doing their job, then the judicial system needs to address the corruption, because they need to know that there are consequences to not doing their job in the government. That's why I bring up the judicial system. But go ahead, Dr. Wilson, go ahead and share your thoughts, please, as far as where would you start?
It has to start in the system itself, because if you don't dismantle the system, nothing else is going to work. I mean, when you talk about people that are in power, people that are in control, they're controlling everyone else. They're controlling the flow of information. They're controlling what type of information they get. They're controlling the laws. They're controlling the policies. They're controlling it all. And so if the change doesn't start within the system, everything else is a wash.
Okay, so, I've announced before that, like I said, I was born for this. I was born for this because the passion I have in my heart for that country, I will do the best I can. And I'm in a position where I can provide some wisdom as far as my mediation background. And so we are, Dr. Wilson and we're doing this because this is the beginning of a conversation to try to bring the solution to Haiti on its doorstep. We're an hour and a half away. We have no problem flying there to go talk to these leaders to discuss how we can do a training for them. And, with Dr. Wilson is a trainer. And Dr. Wilson, I know you have not done training international before, right? You've focused mostly in Florida, but there's nothing like an idea whose time has come, Victor Hugo said. And I love that because I do feel that timing is everything, isn't it? Timing is everything. You know what? I couldn't rest in my soul, as the song says. It is well in my soul. Well, it is not in my soul, knowing that it's only an hour and a half away, and we have these skills that are available for us not to be able to offer them to that country that set the stage for freedom around the world. I mean, let's remind everybody what Haiti has done for the world. I came to this country, I was where my parents had me dress up like free slaves because they were parading me in Washington at all these, official functions. And it was ingrained to me, like, I wanted to stand and sleep on them, when I had a holiday. But they were like, no, you're putting that dress on. You're going to show up for your mother because she's going to give a presentation on Haiti independence and all that. So that's where that all started for me. And so the mediation training program that we're in the process of discussing on how we can implement and how we can offer that to Haiti. We can start with Haiti, of course. That can trickle over to Dominican Republic, because let's not keep Dominican Republic out of this conversation, Dr. Myrthil. Dr. Myrthil is fluent in Spanish, because Dr. Myrthil, how is Dominican Republic disrupting the peace in Haiti? How are they contributing to this?
Because the Dominican Republic is the best neighbor country for Haiti. That means by there, the gang can, have received all the gun that they need, all the munition they need. That means this is the best way for them to receive, to buy and to sell.
Yeah, the transportation of weapons. Absolutely. So the reason I bring up Dominican Republic, and again, I'm not here to point fingers at anybody, but the corruption is there too. It's one little island, and they are all in it together. And so, Dr. Wilson, I wanted to bring that up to say that the idea is to expand it to, the sphere of influence, who has influence on Haiti and who needs to know about the different ways of resolving problems. And I say this all about poverty, right? People only are corrupt because they feel that it's all about money and position and power. But money, most of all in these countries, poverty is the issue. And so by giving these people skills and other ideas, and that's why it was important that you mentioned that mental health can coexist with religion, with your concept of God, because once you know who your creator is, there's no need to steal. Your supply comes from God, right? I said it. A lot of people are uncomfortable with God and the people, especially in the legal profession. But you know what? We wouldn't be here without the creator. I don't know. Prove to me that I created myself in a way. But I have to believe that there was something greater than myself. I wouldn't have gotten sober if it wasn't my creator who just said, I think you got other plans for you, right? And so I didn't go to treatment. It wasn't something that was forced on me. I just woke up one day. I said, this needs to stop. So there is a creator that is active in my life. I wish the same for everyone because life becomes so much easier with that acceptance, which is where we are as far as the corruption. When people really know the true power, there is no need for you to exert your own human will on other people because there is something very organic that allows us to coexist without having to oppress one another, and there's too much oppression, whether it's war, whether it's whatever it is around the world that we've normalized. War is not normal. We can have peace in the world. And some people say I'm delusional. Well, I don't think so. I think I'm pretty sane. And I just want people to be happier than we are now. So on that topic, so if you were to do a training in Haiti, now what could that look like? I know I'm putting you on the spot. Tell me what your trainings look like in the US and how would that transfer over if we were able to do that in Haiti? Before we dive back in, it is a pleasure to tell you that my book, Sendor Inner Luxury, Unlock the Secret to Your Luxurious Self, now on Kindle and as well as on paperback. So feel free to rush and get a copy for your loved ones. In addition, if you are loving these extraordinary conversations about luxury, about balance, about emotional intelligence, about a little bit of politics, a little bit of spirituality, if you're loving all of it, well, rush to Amazon and get my book. You will learn emotional balance is from within. You will learn to elevate yourself to the frequency that you wish to express in the world. So there can be more love, more peace, more harmony. But there's more. You can rush to pre-order my next book, which is Sendor, Guide to Luxury Living and Emotional Balance. Well, for me, my brand is all about living from within, emotional balance, emotional intelligence, and luxury. And for me, these books are flowing endlessly from me to you with so much love. Let me know what you think. Let me know after you read it. Put a comment, put a review. I'd love to hear from you.
Well, it starts off talking about what mediation is, and then it goes into the benefits of mediation, and then the buy-in of the parties. Then we talk about how to facilitate that training, because you do have to have some techniques, of course, in order to be able to execute it and get buy-in from the parties to participate. And then understanding dynamics of agreement, not only how to get them to come to an agreement, but how to write that agreement and the expectation to abide by it. And so once you get the buy-in to do that, you can really go in and talk about the dynamics of training with a mediation. Within that mediation training, negotiation is in there, communication is in there. We talk about being reticent for change, being the right to self-determination. We talk about all of those techniques within mediation so that you can understand that the mediation process is not just about one party, but it's about all of those parties that are involved and affected.
Fantastic. And so anyone listening to this, and the call to action today is pick up your phone, your keyboard saying, where do I sign up? So we're going to be structuring some programs, and nothing's finalized yet. We're going to have short courses, long courses, certificate courses, and we're going to establish mediation in Haiti because I do believe there's a potential for that. And of course, human beings are predisposed to communicate effectively. So this idea that Haitians cannot communicate effectively is a myth. And those Haitians who continually use that as a mantra, we can't communicate. No, it's because we're choosing not to communicate. We can also make a choice. Like I said, I made a choice to stop a certain way of behaving 25 years ago. If I could do that, we can communicate effectively. Like I said, that was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. But guess what? if we call on that power that governed us on 1804, who said freedom is a birthright. But guess what? As part of freedom, communication is in there too. Harmony is part of freedom. Peace is part of freedom. And, prosperity, most of all, it's part of that freedom. So for anyone who has dismissed Haiti as a failed state, well, I'm sorry. You're going to have to talk to me because I can re-educate you to let you know that in 1804, we did something phenomenal, something unprecedented, something unbelievable. Till this day, rocks me at my core, reminds me of how I'm supposed to show up in the world. And that how I show up is someone strong and someone free and someone outspoken, not to harm, but to heal. We are here as healers. And in that healing process comes, we have tools. Mediation is one of them. Mediation, as I said, there are different forms of, conflict resolution. Mediation is one of them. We have restorative justice within there. You can have victims faced off with their offenders, sit down, and you can express the anger. That is a powerful tool to be heard. And these leaders who are, I call them misleaders, I'm going to reform you. I'm going to help you reform because I do see the potential in you. I don't know if you see it in yourself, but us three here on this panel, we are here to help guide this process into Haiti to make sure that land that God ordained in 1804 to be the first Black Republic remains. Because we're leaking people. We are leaking people. We are leaking all the way into the United States, and it doesn't benefit us. It only benefits everywhere else. And of course, I'm grateful to the United States for allowing Haitians to come here, but also I like Haitians in Haiti. I want Haitians to be in Haiti. I'm not going to get into the conversation as to why these people are doing that and what resources they're after, but I do want to focus on the human dynamic that says we are resilient. So let's talk about, if you have final thoughts, let's talk about that. Dr. Myrthil?
Yes. For long, we have been waiting for long. When I say for long, for let me see, since the 2017, like 7 years or 8 years, we have been waiting for this for something to be done, and nothing. The presence of the multiple parties cannot help to solve the problem, because when you have multiple people or multiple parties sitting down, there is no way you can have a mediation between them. There is no way. Okay? That means for me, the best solution is to have them to conciliate between them and have two or three parties, political electoral or parties in the election, for before they decide. If they don't decide like that, there is no way you're going to have a good mediation between people, because you cannot have mediation between several parties, or each party has an idea, or you cannot do mediation within several ideas. You can do mediation between two ideas, okay? Two ideas, contrary ideas, then you can have them put them together and have a solution average solution between. This is the reason, like I would like to tell you that, right now, we have to start focusing in international mediation, like in countries like
we could get to that. But right now we're
African American, Asian.
So the American system has incorporated in most of its judicial processes mediation. Can Haiti, you think, is Haiti ready to establish a national mediation program?
No, I don't think so, because we have to wait until they have an idea about what the government wants to do. The peace is supposed to have peace. If you don't have peace, you're not going to have a judicial system, because when somebody goes, in court, sometimes, if you watch at when in the court, when the person in front of the judge it looks like, is the authority. He has the authority to speak to the judge.
So I understand. So I think what you're saying is, and I know we've gone over time, and I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me on such an important matter. So I think we could actually, start discussing how to implement mediation in programs in schools.
No, you can start the program, virtually, You can, or you can send the program to the newspapers in there and have them to learn about it. You can train, like if they want to train people about it, it's good. But you cannot.
Absolutely. The
Exactly.
business sector, I know we talked about political leadership. We talked the business sector. There is because I do mostly business mediations. So that sounds fantastic. So we can't get that established yet, but we can spread the good news about mediation. Dr. Wilson, tell us again, what would be the first step? And that would be setting up the training for the politicians first. Tell us about what the steps would look like and what would be the call to action for the audience?
So the training already exists. I think the first step would be is getting the buy-in of the politicians
Okay.
to get to a point where they want to take it while you're working towards mandatory mediation. And so that's going to take some lobbying. That's going to take some convincing. That's going to take some conversations of getting people to buy into it and to carve out the amount of time that's needed to have a meaningful and impactful. So it's not something you can pack into 1 hour. It's not something you can pack into one day. It is carving out the time that silences you and stills you enough to learn the foundation of mediation to be effective in its implementation and use of it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And so the solution is mediation. We did touch a little. I'm also an arbitrator. That's also another segment of another tool of. We will talk about that another time. And I don't know, are you also an arbitrator? You don't arbitrate? Yeah, I am an arbitrator. That's also more of we'll talk about that another time. So audience. So now, how do we bring this conversation? Dr. Myrthil, we need to bring this conversation to the political leaders. You know these political leaders. I know some of them, but I have, I'm pretty disconnected in Haiti, but we're going to do what we can. We can start with one political leader will spread the word, because I think what is most important at this point is communication. Let's help these people know there are more effective ways to solve problems than to just yell, ignore, dismiss, and avoid, or just, argue. So mediation is where people come in and discuss politely in a civil manner. And I want Dr. Myrthil, if someone needs to reach you, I know you can be reached through me. And Dr. Wilson, how can the audience, how can they reach you?
My information is all listed on my website, phone number, as well as email, which is www.cwconsultingfirm.com.
Okay. I wanted to share that I am in discussions with Dr. Wilson for this collaborative effort. And as he is a trainer, and of course, I have the passion. And so there are three of us here. So I have the passion. And I'm a mediator. Dr. Wilson is already a trainer. He's had a training system in place for mediators in Florida for some time. We're going to carry that over to Haiti. Dr. Myrthil is the law expert, Haitian law expert, as a law professor and also a retired judge. We're going to make this happen. And to you, the audience, what are your expertise? What would you like? Would you like to take some training with Dr. Wilson? So reach out to him. He's always, available and actively training. But also, do you have mediation needs? I'm not a family mediator. If you need one in Florida, reach out to Dr. Wilson. But myself and Dr. Myrthil are Florida Supreme Court certified mediator. If you have civil disputes, please let us know. I'm not county certified, but Dr. Wilson is. Any question you have, drop a question, drop a comment, what you think we should have mentioned or what we missed. This is an ongoing conversation. Clearly, this didn't happen overnight, and it's not going away anytime soon. For those of you who believe Haiti is just going to sink into the ocean, I don't think so. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on this wonderful special episode panel, Frankly Speaking with Sandra D. And of course, I look forward to speaking to you again very soon. Until then, audience, be well, stay safe, and I love you very much. So thanks for watching. Of course, I just want to remind you, first of all, I want to say thanks for watching, but I want to say from my heart, Sandra D, I want to remind you to grab your copy on Amazon and let me know what your thoughts are, what feedback you have, what you would have liked me to speak about, Of course, we're on this journey together. So Amazon, Kindle, paperback, Sindor, Inner Luxury. And for those of you who are ready to dive even deeper, you can get ready because there's more coming. Sindor Guide to Luxury Living and Emotional Balance. That's going to be available very soon. So stay tuned, keep watching. I will announce. You follow me on my social medias as I tease a little bit of this and a little bit of that for your highest good. Remember, luxury isn't just a lifestyle. It is absolutely a mindset. And I don't know about you, I want my mindset to reflect all of the highest frequencies available to us humans. Till next time, don't forget, grab your copy on Amazon, Sindor, Inner Luxury, Unlocking the Secret to Your Luxurious Self. Until next time.
Oh, and don't forget, subscribe